what's up? What's up? What's good? What's good, man? How's everybody doing out there, man? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, man? It feels like a fucking Friday, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like a Friday, but it's a fucking Wednesday right now. But I promise you, it feels like a Friday. How's everybody doing, yo? What's good? What's up, man? What's up? Hey man, how's everybody's Wednesday going? I hope y'all are having a great day so far. I hope y'all are having a great week so far. I gotta tell y'all, man, I haven't really slept much. I had to take Sam to the airport real early this morning. She had a flight. She had a flight for work, so I had to take her super early this morning, so I haven't really slept much. I'll be honest with you. I don't feel like a real person right now. Like, I don't even know. I don't feel like a real person. But, yeah, we made it. We're here. We're live. We're back. So thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me, as always. After this, actually, my buddy's going to come by. We did this on Monday, but he's going to come by. We're going to go for a run after, so I might just be blacked out. You just walk 5 miles uphill both ways. Like, I'm gonna go for a run. I'll see how many miles he wants to do today, but I might be blacked out before that Knicks game. By the time that Knicks game comes on later, I might be delusional. I might go live later during the game. I don't know yet. I haven't decided yet. We'll see what the night feels like. But obviously the Emirates Cup. So that's how my day has been. I'm sorry, I'm fucking out of it right now, but thankfully, we only have 2 games last night to talk about, so that was really, really nice. So despite not having slept very much, there isn't that many games to talk about. So that is the positive part in this, right? So that's the positive. But as always, thank you guys for joining me, and let's get right into it. Now, before we continue, please like, comment, and subscribe. All that good shit. It really helps the channel out. We're trying to take this to the moon, as y'all already know. And welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera Show, where we talk about basketball, sports, and any other topic that comes our way as accurate as possible. Now, like I just said, we are going to be talking about the Emirates Cup. We had the first 2 games. It was the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Orlando Magic. And then it was the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Dallas Mavericks. And I was 1-1. I got the Bucks call right. And you know, I was wrong about the Dallas Mavericks, but last night told me a lot about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'll just say that before we get into it in a little bit. So those 2 games were really fun. We'll also talk a little bit about the Knicks game going into Wednesday night. Man, your boy, like y'all can't catch a break, Elijah. Like I'm so sorry, brother. I'm so sorry. First of all, when I saw Scotty Barnes go down, I was already like, fuck. But then when they did the close-up, they panned to the close-up of him while he's talking to the trainer or whoever that guy is. And he's saying, I can't feel my foot. I said, oh, shit. Yeah, so I think they said it's a sprained ankle, which I've never had a sprained ankle where I didn't feel my foot, so I don't know. We'll have to see, but that's really tough. That was really tough to watch. You hate to see players getting injured, and Operation Capture the Flag. Hey, and then even in the Orlando Magic game, it was so many fucking injuries that we've had to deal with already. But before we actually get into those games, there's a report that I want to talk about because I think sometime next month or the end of this month? Let's see. Uh, excuse me. No, this isn't it. But I know the NBA is going to have we're gonna have games in Europe in like the next month, and there Adam Silver will be doing a he's going to be doing an announcement essentially, right? And apparently the NBA is reportedly in serious conversation with FIBA for a league in Europe to rival EuroLeague. So, real serious. I've been having some real serious Wi-Fi problems. My shit actually just went out before I got on. So please just bear with me. Please just bear with me. That was a hard lag. So yeah, sorry. Please just bear with me. Our internet's been completely dog shit lately. But anyway, there's and here's a quote. We could actually just read this article together, right? There's agreement that where we are in terms of the level of interest in basketball in Europe is not commensurate with the commercial activities. I don't know what the fuck that means. What the hell does this mean, dog? Could we like get a definition? Corresponding in size is an adjective that means corresponding in size. Suitable or proportionate relationship between two things. Okay. Anyway, after Zagklis had spoken to NBA owners, I think the way all of us see it, it's not just about a business opportunity. I think for basketball to continue to grow, we need, whether it's a series of tournaments or a league that is viable. So he confirmed that they're in serious conversations of starting a new European league, which would likely try to draw top clubs and compete with the existing EuroLeague. Here is what Zagklis said in his year-end news conference via Joe Varden at The Athletic. There is a clear interest by the NBA, and there are ongoing discussions with FIBA. We've been having and will continue having discussions with the company that operates the EuroLeague. It is something that has been on our radar. We tried to bring everyone together. This was not possible, so our job is to continue having serious conversations with our partners at the NBA. So, you could say it's the what the fuck is his name? Fuck, Noah Lyles, right? Is that his name, bro? Yeah, so you could say it's the Noah Lyles effect. You could say it's the European effect on basketball with all the influx of European players. I think they said 15% of the NBA are international players, right? So not necessarily just Europe. Oh, he said it's a global market. Silver said during the 2024 final, or about 30% of our players are international when you think about the amount of basketball being played globally. And the U.S. is a little less than 5% of the global population. We've been on the same page. No, it had nothing to do with this. Oh, 100%. Now, people are going to try to tie that in, though, obviously, right? Not understanding Massey does stuff in traffic, it does stuff in Africa. Obviously things like this take a lot of time, right? So I was joking that Noah Lyles is the reason for all of this, but clearly this takes years and they haven't gotten to an agreement. They're in serious talks about it, right? Meaning there is nothing. Excuse me. And when I say nothing, that means there's a bunch of ideas on the table, but there is no clear direction on how they want to go about it. They mentioned a bunch of different things, whether it's like a tournament or a league. You know, that's all signs that they don't have something solidified for this, right? But they are expanding, and this is, I guess, a level of expansion that, we didn't necessarily expect so soon, right? Because like I just said prior, the NBA is just talking about expanding with the two teams. An entire league is a whole different ball game. But I think that it's a lot deeper than just having a team over there or just having teams over there, right? They talked about the grassroots of basketball, right? Was one of the driving factors of this, of trying to learn how Europeans develop their players, right? What's different about it? And then, aside from that, right, being the scout that gets to relay information directly to the NBA or for your NBA team, instead of having a scout to another scout to another scout, right, where you have to go by word of mouth. You get to actually see these prospects in real time. And it's funny that they said it's not just about the business, because obviously business is a part of it, right? Luka Doncic is a massive star in the NBA, and we're going to talk a lot about him later. But he's a massive star in the NBA, and I would imagine is a massive star internationally. Victor Wembanyama is already a star in the NBA and a star in France as well. Even a Jokic, who we all know he's not the super outgoing person everyone always jokes about. He don't even want to be there, especially when it comes to the entertainment aspect of basketball. But his nonchalant, I don't give a fuck attitude is appealing to a lot of people, right? So the NBA kind of molded him into a star, whether he liked it or not, because his personality is appealing to people. And then you put his numbers right next to it, then you have a star player. And so to have roots in Europe, to establish roots in Europe, means that you can not only start to funnel the talent towards the NBA, assess the talent a lot better, but now you can market effectively over there. Now you can really monetize the game of basketball in Europe, because if you're over there trying to figure out how they develop their talent because their athletes aren't super athletic, well, the NBA markets the game better than all of those leagues. So talk about having a leg up on them in that aspect. So I do think that this is a strategic move by the NBA on so many different fronts. It almost feels like like fucking Rome trying to conquer. Like, that's what it feels like. Like, they're trying to go over there to go conquer whatever the hell is going on that side. And like I said, the biggest part in it is the information, the access to information, right? Is a massive thing for them. Not only will they be able to broaden the league, but like I said, to be able to have access to information. And if the NBA is expanding to more teams, you're going to need more players. So they get to have access to the pool in Europe to those players, right? So, like I said, I think it's really a strategic move on a lot of different fronts for the NBA. We'll see what happens. I'm actually excited to see what Adam Silver has to say about it, because like I said, I think they don't have anything concrete yet, or they're trying to keep their information close to the vest. But we'll see what their plans are. We'll see if it's a league, if it's a tournament style thing. They've been flirting about having the NBA champions play against the EuroLeague champions. So we'll see what shakes out. But there's a lot of movement going on in the NBA right now. There's a lot of movement going on in the NBA right now. A lot of money is being turned over. A lot of money. So with that being said, and with one of the money makers recently, right, which is these NBA Cup games, we saw the Milwaukee Bucks take on the Orlando Magic last night. And the Bucks won 114-109. And now the Bucks are advancing to the semifinals to play against the winner of the Knicks-Hawks game. And, right off the bat, right, you have an Orlando Magic that doesn't have Paolo Banchero. They also don't have Franz Wagner. So their two star players were out of this game. And, in the long run, because this is a in-season tournament, right? It's not the actual championship. In terms of the big picture for the Orlando Magic, this was great. I mean, honestly, this was great. To lose by just 5 points against a hot Milwaukee Bucks team, right? And they have a player like Giannis who plays the way that he plays, super physical. I feel like he's like a bus driver trying to go to. Hey, you want to come to the rim? I'll bring you to the rim. Come on, come to the rim. He brings everybody to the rim. He dunks on everybody, lays it on everybody. It don't matter. Playing against that is really tough, especially in a game that means something. And what I mean by that is this, right? These games are called either tight or loose, right? Last night, and really, the star can kind of dictate that, right? Giannis got himself his 12 free throws last night, right? 12 free throw attempts. He plays a very physical brand of basketball that forces the referees to make calls. You compare this to the Orlando Magic, who have no stars on the team that can demand calls like that. Right there, you're at a disadvantage in a massive game, because stars matter in the NBA. That you could try to deny it all you want, but they matter. And it seemed like every time they needed a run, Giannis was that guy for them. Now, I really feel like the Orlando Magic should have won this game. Jalen Suggs was just, that fourth quarter was, whew. That fourth quarter was masterful by Jalen Suggs. Trying to keep his team in that game, right, without the stars. And I'll probably get killed for this. Damian Lillard had 15 points in the fourth quarter, right? That's really what challenged the 18 that Jalen Suggs had in the fourth, right? So Lillard had 15. 3 of 6 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 8 of 8 from the free throw line to go with 2 assists, 2 turnovers, and 2 personal fouls. I'm not going to lie to you. There was a point in that fourth quarter where I was seriously questioning whether or not Damian Lillard was trying to throw this game or not. Like actually wondering if he was trying to throw the game. There was he hit a 3 early in the fourth and then got into and then fouled. Then he had another turnover. It was just like one after the other. Giannis left the game going into the fourth quarter. They were up like 8 points. By the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter, it was like a 2-point game. By the 10-minute mark. That was with Damian Lillard on the floor. And he obviously came up really big. He hit a massive step back 3. He hit all the free throws. He also hit another layup going to the left where he beat the defense. But there was a lot of mistakes there at the end. And I've said this before, right? You have to, you can't make the game more difficult on yourself. And on the one foul call, you know, they lost it actually. They lost the challenge on the Damian Lillard foul call. But I argue he shouldn't have even been in that position. Like why is your hand there? Why are you trying to, like, for what? For what? You can't do that. And so, like I said, I felt like he was trying to throw the fucking game in the fourth quarter, and thankfully he was able to hit some of those shots because it was looking a little bit dicey there. You know, Giannis had them quarters 1 through 3, and then Damian Lillard was able to take it home. And when it comes to these single game elimination style, you know, single game elim style tournaments, right? You know, in a 7-game series, I don't think this style is sustainable. Like, I think right now, if they played a 7-game series against the Orlando Magic, I think they would probably lose. Alienate Brooke, Chris Street Clothes, trade Drew, get rid of Bud, and fire Adrian. Never check Giannis on being a brat. Then bring Damon, who got to do whatever he wanted to do his whole career. Try to fit in. And, like, truthfully, in the fourth quarter even, you know, to your point about trying to fit in, Elijah, there are moments where Dame almost looks lost. Like, there was a backdoor play that Giannis missed that would have gone to AJ Green. Oh, yeah, there's another one. Every time, like, Giannis will drive it, right? Giannis would drive it. Kicked it to Bobby Portis, right? And Bobby Portis don't make a shot. So instead he runs back. He was on the left side of the floor. He runs back and then he passes it to Dame. And in my head, I'm like, why don't you, every time you run the ball out, run a DHO with Damian Lillard so he can come off in attack mode? Leave Giannis in the dunker and force the other team to make a play. It's really fucking simple. But they got the ball out. You give it to him. All right, are we going to run a pick and roll? Are we going to ISO? Is this broken basketball bullshit that, like, it's not sustainable in a 7-game series. like I said, Giannis has been on a heater lately. He's been on an absolute tear. And when Giannis plays like that, you'll always have a chance to win. Let's just call it what it is, right? When Giannis plays the way that he plays, and honestly, he needs to play a lot more like a big at this point in his career. He needs to, like, if you see him moving around in the paint with his arms up, he takes up the whole fucking paint. No one should be able to guard him in there. He can probably pivot 3 times around the paint and get a bucket. But they don't have their system is not super fluid. It's still, I'm going to do my thing. You're going to do your thing. All right, after you're done doing your thing, all right, I'm going to go do my thing. And, yet and still, I chose them to win the game because, like I said, I think they're just on a hot streak right now. And when it comes to winning one game, this is good enough to do that. But in terms of a full series, I don't think the Milwaukee Bucks are still a good team. I think at the end of the season, they're still going to end up not looking that great. But, like I said, kudos to the Orlando Magic. They're taking a lot of steps in the right direction. Jokic and Giannis can't do anything more. They're both going nuclear to keep their team where they're at. Yeah, just to keep them afloat. Like that's crazy, right? Yeah, but at least they have each other. Like, at least they have each other. Right? Like, Bron and AD, Bron is getting his triple doubles. It's not the same triple doubles he used to get, but he'll get his triple double. AD got like 37. He got a cool little 37. Excuse me. So it's like, it's not quite the same. And I don't want to disrespect Dame, right? Because he's been having solid games. It's just, it's so different from what we've seen from Damian Lillard in his career. And we say this all the time, right? That's why I give KD his credit. That's why, I give Dwayne Wade his credit. All of these guys that fit in with a great player. Bron be cracking me up. He'll do some crazy shit on the bench and faces he makes. I'm too old. Hey, for the first time, I think his age is finally showing, dog. It only took 39 fucking years, but it's finally showing. But like, that's why I give kudos to a lot of these players who are able to fit into a system, right? Like, the shit's not easy when you're used to having the ball in your hand and being able to operate. You have this long leash, a long runway to try to get your game going. And, someone like Kevin Durant, who had to fit into a Steph Curry system and still be the leading scorer of the team. Like, who does that shit? like 100%, like, who does that shit? And it's really difficult, and I think it's showing, right, with this Damian Lillard, with Damian Lillard. We've seen so many different duos and super teams and trios, not work, and they're just struggling, right? I think we can all envision a way that this works, and they just haven't been able to do that just yet. So they're waiting to see who's going to play. Who they're going to play in the Knicks Hawks game. So we're going to move right along to the smoke show, which was the Dallas Mavericks versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I'm going to start with Shea. And I'll be 100% honest, right? I'll just be 100% honest. I thought he should have won MVP last year, right? And I think he's like probably a top 5 player in the NBA right now. All that being said, right? I still have questions. And I still have those questions because we still have to see him and this team in big moments, in big matchups, and see how he reacts to it, right? I was expecting Luka to be more like Luka. You know, they're supposed to be the next guys up. They're the generation that's supposed to come and take over after Bron and Steph. It's, you know, it's Shea, Luka, Tatum. That's like the group, right? And then Anthony Edwards and Ja are like right under them. But Shea, obviously, the last 4 years or so has emerged into this star. And not just a star, but one of the best players in the league. And that was a big moment last night, right? It was an elimination game. They were at home against the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year in the Western Conference Finals. Or in the semifinals, sorry. Or quarterfinals, whatever the fuck. And so there was a lot on the line. And then on top of that, you know, the Luka Shea comparison, right? 2 different styles of game. And for someone that's really quiet like Shea, right? I remember earlier in the season, they asked him a question about the matchup. And he said, you know, like, I think we're just good against every team. He tries to deflect. It's never personal. It's never a head-to-head thing. It's always, you know, team. I'll get there in just a second, brother. I'll get there in just a second. I'm gonna give Shea his flowers though. But clearly, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander takes these matchups personally. There's just no way. Right? You compare his rise to a Luka Doncic, right? And he didn't have the same rise as Luka did, right? Like he started 10.8 points and then 19 and then 23. Mr. My whole life been consistent. Right? It's not the same. It's not the same entrance that Luka had where the league was buzzing when Luka Doncic came into the league. 20s every year. All NBA, MVP, like all the individual stuff came at Luka so fast. And, you know, you could say Dallas being a big market helps that, and I'm sure it did, but he played really well and had the opportunity as well, too, right? As opposed to Shea, who really had to prove himself and then grew into his own in a small market like Oklahoma City. So when you get a matchup like last night, and in the first quarter, I knew there was something up. I knew there was something up in the first quarter. Because quarter one, Shea had 16 points, but that to me wasn't the big thing, right? Excuse me. The 16 first quarter points wasn't the standout to me. It was the 4 3-pointers. He took 4 3-point attempts in that first quarter, which to me is a sign of, Oh, I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on. Never been known to be a knockdown three-point shooter. He was walking into threes. Entering the league and turking gerbs. All these four. What's good, Bean? So does Shea count as a foreigner? Does Shea count as a foreigner too? Is he on that list? Because he Canadian, right? So he would have to count. But like I said, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander definitely took this matchup personally. 39 points on 23 shots, just as efficient as ever. But honestly, more so than just the points, like he was literally, like in boxing, he was literally walking down the Dallas Mavericks. Like he was literally walking them down. He would walk to his spot, start his dribble, and go. And like I said, he's not very boisterous, but you could tell the way he was playing. He's like, oh, y'all can't fuck with me. Like that's the type of time he was on last night. And when it comes to writing your story, right? This is a great part of it. He lost the MVP last year. He's been on a tear this year. Took out the team that beat him in the Emirates Cup. It just adds to it, right? So he was incredible. The whole team was incredible. They hit. It felt like they hit every big shot. It felt like they hit every single big shot during the game. Anytime Dallas made a run and they needed a three, they hit it. It was just a great team effort as well too, aside from the performance by Shea. But we're going to talk about Luka and the Dallas Mavericks right now. Because there was a stretch where Luka was sitting and the Mavericks made a run. They had their little run, right? I think he sat until like the 6:51 mark in the second quarter, and in the third also they sat him a little bit. The ball really moves when Luka's not on the floor, right? The ball really moves when Luka's not on the floor. Everyone gets to touch the ball. Everyone gets to attack. The kick and drive is really effective because they really do have a bunch of playmakers, if you really think about it, between Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, Klay Thompson. They have guys that can make plays other than Luka Doncic. And when Luka's the one that's dominating the ball for most of the possession and most of the game, they don't get to do that. And in return, they don't get to open up the game for a Luka Doncic. But here's the other part when it comes to Luka, right? I don't think that he's doing himself or the rest of his teammates any favors at this point. We've heard stories of that's why I don't like when people meet much Euroball. I mean, yeah, I'm with you on that. Here's the thing about Luka, right? This is like the real conversation right now. Because we've heard stories of referees that make a pact to go against a certain player, like when Allen Iverson had allegedly threatened, I think it was Steve Javie or something like that. And, the referees got together and they all called a carry on him, right? And so if you get on the bad side of the referees, that's not going to go well for you. And being one of the best players in the league, one of the brightest stars in the NBA, Lou Dort shouldn't be able to defend him the way that he does. Like, how physical Lou Dort is allowed to be with him, he wouldn't be able to play like that with like a Steph Curry or even like a Jason Tatum or like a Bron. I don't believe it. In a playoff series, you wouldn't be able to defend them like that. And I think his teammates also get some of that. Freddie v. Scott versus Foster versus CP3. No, that's facts. And, you know, for a star player like Luka, right? And I've explained this before. When you're a bigger player, you know, Luka is listed, I think, at 6'6", but he's probably closer to 6'8". Bronny could do it. I'm weak. Bronny could do that shit. But when you're a bigger player, right? The referee will tend to allow a little bit more physicality with you. It's just how it goes, right? They allow a lot more physicality. They allow even more physicality when you're the offensive player that initiates the contact, right? They call it bully ball, which Luka does a lot. So on those fronts, it's very easy for the referees to swallow their whistle already against a player like Luka Doncic. But when you get someone like him that he cusses them out from like across the court, like he will literally cuss them out from the other side of the court, and he's very demonstrative. So I don't think they like him, and I don't think that they're gonna help him out, especially in big games like this where a star should be able to impact the game. And so the game becomes a lot more difficult. You know, Luka goes 5 for 15. There's times where he's not even really getting the ball because of the way Lou Dort is defending him. Full arms on his chest. They're letting him get away with it. They wouldn't let that get away with another player. And I think that Luka needs to start doing a better job of mending that relationship with the referees, because it's not just him anymore. His teammates are starting to suffer as a result of it too. Him and Giannis are the biggest brats in the league. Said this for years. Is the Euro guys? And like And when it comes to that, I don't want to hear nothing about flopping, because they have entire montages in soccer or football. Like, those guys damn near invented flopping. the European guys. So like, yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that. And you know, the irony is, historically, right? Historically, it's always been like that. Historically, the European players have always kind of flopped. They've always been the guys that take the charge calls. And a part of it is being disciplined and you know, the fundamentals of the game. But a part of it too is them using the fact that as a European player, you expect the American player to be stronger, more athletic. So they use that, knowing that, okay, so I'm going to just let him, I'm going to flop because he's way stronger than I am. And then they'll go on the other side, Euro you into your chest and go and get a layup. And Jayson Tatum do got a mean stiff arm. Yo, but they let him get away with it. Tell me not. They let him get away with it, right? So like I think like Jayson Tatum, for example, like he gets a little, he has a little bit of an attitude with the refs, but I think he's a lot nicer to them. And so that's why the media might not like Jayson Tatum, but I think the referees actually fuck with him. And even in watching like the Knicks game, right? You can see the way Jalen Brunson interacts with the referees. He's like, he tries to plead with them, but I'm sure that the referees are telling him, listen, bro, those guys are tackling you every possession. We cannot call every single foul. This game would end in 5 minutes. I'm sure that's the conversation that they have with Jalen Brunson. And Jalen Brunson tries to plead with them. That's why I've said they need an enforcer on the Knicks. They need a motherfucker to knock somebody on their ass, but they don't have one. Yeah, I'd be an upset Raptors fan watching it. They let Jayson Tatum get away with some physicality bullshit, like for real. That's why I know, right? Like we watch everything, dog. Like it's those little things that tell you, oh, he the star to the NBA. It's those little tidbits that tell you, oh, he's an investment for them for sure. It is what it is. It's just a part of the game. It's just a part of the game. Now, let me see. Was there anything else? I mean, we could. It was really Luka, yo. That was really what that whole game was about. They lost by 14 points. Why? Peep this, right? The Mavericks lost by 14 points yesterday, right? 14 points. 118 to 104, right? Luka had 16 points. And he typically gets 30. So if he would have had a normal Luka Doncic game, it would have been a tied game damn near. Right? So he really was the difference in the game last night. He wasn't able to do his thing, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was. Oh, side note, by the way. I mean, he's raised it actually quite a bit. But it's kind of gone under the radar how Luka hasn't been shooting the ball very well. 34.4% right now from 3, 44.4 from 3 from the field, 76% from the free throw line. They were cooking Jayson Tatum for having a bad 20-day stretch of shooting, and Luka has just not been that great in terms of shooting the actual ball. He also stopped doing the clapping and spiking the ball. Hey, man, I don't know how you're going to get through to him. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how you get through to him. I don't know. But let's look ahead to tonight's games because, we have the second set of, Luka attitude is, or at least take him out of a lot of conversations. But that's the funny shit too, right, Elijah? He's in all the conversations already. JT, yeah. Because you have to. Like these guys dictate so much of the game. The referees do. You have to. You have to. You gotta politics. It is what it is. But like I said, I do think it's crazy because Luka is in all the conversations, right? And if you think about how many points he's leaving on the line already by only shooting 76%. If he were shooting 86%, he would get a couple more points. If he was getting another call here and there, he could have been at a 36, 37 points per game last year if it were just for shooting a little bit better at the free throw line and getting a couple extra calls just by being nice to the referees. Real shit. Real shit. He could be leaving a cool 4 to 6 points a game just off that. Just off his attitude and shooting free throws better. But I don't know shit about basketball though, so. Now, we've already previewed this a little bit. He would win a chip if he did what JT did, but I think to your point, right? It's his attitude, but maybe that's his story. right? Maybe that's the way his story goes, right? That's the hurdle he's going to have to cross. Because, I said this about Anthony Edwards, right? Life comes at you fast. 1 second, you're Michael Jordan. They both been compared to Michael Jordan. 1 second, you're Michael Jordan. Next second, you're a whiny brat. Or you're not that good. Or you're this. Or you're that. Right? They're in the arc of their story where they're kind of getting shit on because they've been getting so much praise for so long. Right? How do they handle the adversity? How do they handle the negativity? Like I said, it's going to show a lot about what their career is going to turn out into, because if Luka can fix this, I mean, he was already going to be all time. Like if anyone questions where Luka is going to sit at the table, he's going to be all time. And in all honesty, he probably wins a championship regardless, but if Luka were to change his attitude towards the referees, he gets a couple more calls here and there, helps his teammates out, he can be the mediator instead of being the one saying fuck you to them. Like, say fuck you to the other team. Don't say fuck you to the referee. Like, it'll really impact his career in a positive way. But let's move on to the Knicks Atlanta Hawks game. This shit's making me nervous, yo. His numbers are all time, Elijah. You could not like him, but his numbers are OD. And when you just look at how he plays like ball, like he's really good at basketball. He could obviously get better at other things, right? But everybody got to have their flaw. Otherwise, we would have a bunch of fucking unbelievable monster players out there. like imagine he already did have a really good attitude and he wasn't complaining, and like it would be unfair. Like the shit would just not be fair. So he gotta cross that bridge. He gotta cross that bridge. That's the bridge he gotta cross. Whether he wants to cross it or not is on him, but that's the bridge he gonna have to cross. If he want to be in the GOATs, if he want to be with Mike, Bron, Kobe, and all of them guys, if that's where he want to be, go ahead, cool, do that. Right? That would be my conversation with all these guys, right? You can be up there with them at that table, or you could be like, I don't know, somebody else that's really good, like a James Harden currently. Like who do you want to be? You want to be one of those guys, or do you want to be somebody else? It's really up to you. That wasn't a shot at James Harden, although I'm sure you probably like that, Elijah. You hate that motherfucker, but moving right along to the Knicks Hawks game. I've said it before. The Atlanta Hawks are just a really tough matchup for the New York Knicks, right? Dyson Daniels, who's been a stud on defense this year, leading the league in steals, and has really great size, is going to have the Jalen Brunson matchup. I smiled a bit. I'm weak. Only a bit, too. That's how you know you're a goddamn hater. I'm going to just be honest. But, Dyson Daniels is going to be the one checking Brunson. And that's going to be a really tough matchup. So if you expect Brunson to get off in this game, that's a tough ask, right? Because it's not only against a good defender, but also a defender that has size, right? Now, is Trae Young going to come into the game being a pass-first point guard like he's been for this year, or is he going to come in the game shooting? Or is he going to switch it up at some point, right? That's the question that we've got to ask. And also, we have to see how they're calling the game. Are they going to call it tight, or are they going to let Dyson Daniels manhandle Jalen Brunson, right? That'll tell you all you need to know. Probably within the first like 5 to 6 minutes of the game, you'll have a pretty good idea of how they're going to call the game. And so with that being said, right, for the New York Knicks, I'm looking for them to lean on Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby to really be a spark, right? Karl Anthony Towns, I mean, I said it in the first couple weeks of the season. I think he should be in the MVP candidate because being a new player on a team and rising to be the best player and also keeping your team afloat, you deserve a lot of credit for that. And he's been having monster games. He's second in rebounds. I think he's like fourth in points or something. Like he's just having an unbelievable season so far and is having a lot of impact, right? It's not just the numbers, but a lot of impact. Excuse me. What a shot he hit the other night, by the way, to Elijah. Wow. And then he did he started pointing at the jersey. Ah, man. Ah, man. I know my dad hates it because he wanted to hate him so badly, but it's not working out for my dad right now. He's hooping. And then when it comes to OG, like I said, I think OG is the ultimate X factor for the Knicks. When he plays well, we play well. And so those are the two players that I'm going to be looking at. If they're playing well, I think our chances of winning this game are really high. It'll open the game up for Brunson. If they're able to play well. You know, when Cat is doing his thing and he's demanding attention, it opens up a lot of the slot cuts and the backdoor cuts. So he really is going to have to be key. And then, you know, another person that gets a lot of, you know, he gets to benefit from a lot of those cuts is OG Anunoby. So, you know, we're going to have to play as a team, but we're going to have to play through Cat, and it might have to be on Brunson to try to, like, close this game out. I think that might be what's going to have to happen. Hopefully we can get some early fouls on Dyson Daniels. I don't give a fuck if y'all call this game rigged. We need some fouls on that guy, bro, because I'm not about to have him guard Jalen Brunson for every second of this game, bro. Like, no thank you. But if it's close, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. If it's close, I'm gonna be really nervous. If the game is close because I think Trae Young gets a buff when he's going against this team. And if it's close, I think he's gonna look for his shot. And historically, that hasn't gone well for the New York Knicks, right? So my heart is telling me the New York Knicks, right? My mind don't know what to pick, so I'm going to just go with the New York Knicks. I'm going to go with my New York Knicks. But I think it's going to be a tough matchup. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. And for the Warriors-Rockets game, they're playing in Houston. I think these Rockets are cooked. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I think these guys are done. Like, I think we about to see a Steph Curry masterclass tonight. Like he's always done against Houston. Don't matter who the fuck is on that team. I think Steph Curry is gonna have a masterclass. Oh yeah. I know they spoke about starting Kuminga, which I'm really confused about. Like, why don't he play with Draymond? Like, like, why are we just not playing Steph, Buddy Hield, Kuminga, Draymond, and whoever the hell else they want to put at the 5? Like, why does it have to be one or the other? I don't get it if I don't get it, but I still think the Warriors are going to win this game. I think Steph is going to have one of those games tonight. They've also been beating the fuck out of Houston. Whoa, since October 29, 2023. Yo, peep this. 106.95, 121, 116, 133, 110, 127, 121, 99, 93. I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm the Houston Rockets, I'm checked out before we even tip the ball. Like, 100%, I'm checked the fuck out the game. And we going against Steph Curry. Yeah, he might do some shit that he did to Serbia. He might go night on them boys. But yeah, I think we got. The Golden State Warriors got this in the bag. I feel the same about this game the way I did about the Bucks Magic game, where I just think the star is gonna dominate the game, and I think this is no different. But I can't wait to see the games tonight. If I'm on later, y'all gonna see me on if I'm on. But if not, then I will see y'all on Friday, beautiful people. Thank you guys so much as always. I really appreciate y'all hanging out with me. It's been really, really great. Y'all are the fucking best. Elijah, I appreciate you. Bean, I appreciate you. Y'all are awesome. I'm going to get out of here. But before I leave, please like, comment, and subscribe. All that good shit. It really helps the channel out. We're trying to take this shit to the moon, as you already know. And as always, y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me. I appreciate y'all so much. I will see y'all later. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day, man. Peace, 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 peace. Y'all the best. Later.